Hi, I'm Kamryn Fryman, and today I'm here with my grandfather, Johnny Fryman, and I'm going to be interviewing him and asking him some questions about the changes he's experienced in his life, and a few topics. And the first one we're going to get started with is education. So how has, from you growing up to now, the education, like how people learn and stuff, how
Has it changed? It has changed quite a bit. I graduated from high school in 1967, so that can tell you how old I am in a way and back it up, but it's definitely changed a lot. I can remember in my grade school days, when I was going to school, from first through the sixth grade, we went into a classroom and we sat there all day from first, in the first grade, the second grade, third grade, on up to the sixth grade. It was the same way. We didn't change classes. We didn't do anything like that. We had the same teacher for every class. Whoever taught us science taught us math. Whoever taught us math taught us English. So we didn't experience the changes of classrooms and the interaction of hall activity and all those type of things from first to the sixth grade. In the seventh, eighth grade, it was a little bit different. We didn't have but probably two different teachers, but again, we didn't change classrooms or anything like that. And we didn't experience any classroom environment change until we got to be in high school. And so it was a big change for us, beginning to go from classroom to classroom. But not only that, one of the biggest changes that I've seen in education is every time I went into one different classroom after another classroom, I carried a book. I had a book for every subject. So when I got to high school, it was a real awakening. When you go 6, 7 classes in high school, we carried 6 or 7 books down our hallway. We couldn't take them back to our locker unless we happened to be on our way to our next class, and we were fortunate that. But we always had a principal standing outside making sure that we were moving through the hallway at all times. So time was a premium on changing classes. So we carried our books from classroom to classroom. Not only that, but we carried them home from classroom to classroom. So biggest change today, kids are able to carry it on a computer or whatever this other thing that they call Chromebook. They're able to carry everything and do everything on their Chromebooks, and which again, that's great and wonderful. But again, I think it's the experience that you have when you carry a book and the experience that you have to read in a book and do those type of things. But that's where technology has come in today. It's a big difference. So big difference in what has changed and everything. It's just the growth of technology in the schools and the way it was so easy. Well, it's so easy today, I think, that when you're working on assignments, and I've experienced with my granddaughter, I've experienced with my grandson, when they've had assignments to work on, and I've been the privilege to they've been asked me to what have they seen, what can I help them with, and it's so easy to Google on a computer. Whereas when I was growing up, you had to dig into the book and find the answer. You had to read to find the answers. You had to really work to get the answers, and it's so easy for them today to get the answers in an easier way. So I think it kind of takes away a little bit of kids trying to learn and instill into them the art of learning. And one good example is math. It's so easy to get a calculator. It's so easy to get your phone and get an answer in a math problem, instead of really working it out and working hard to learning it out and learning those type of things. So that's probably some of the biggest changes. Clothes style, yeah. Back when I was going to school, it was even tough to wear jeans back then. You kind of had to wear dress pants and good looking shoes. Jeans and tennis shoes were okay, but they were kind of frowned upon. Today, some of the clothes that I see kids wearing to school today, I'm surprised they're even allowed in school. So that was probably the biggest things I've seen in education.
How about lifestyles? I mean, I know from back then, it's changed a lot.
Yeah, it has. I mean, lifestyles, whether it's the clothes you wear, how you dress, your hairstyle, lifestyles have definitely, it's more free-willing today. Again, back then you didn't walk out the door to go to school dressed like kids I see today. okay? Or you didn't go places where I see kids are free. The freedom of kids to go today and the freedom of the things that we've made available for our kids today. We didn't have them back then. We were very, very fortunate enough to get to go to a theater back in my time of growing up and everything. And if we did, it was, you thought it was Christmas time. It was a present and everything. But lifestyles have changed. And with that, lifestyles have changed. Everything has gotten better for everybody and everything. So it's much, much better, but it's much, much easier, I think, a lot today in our lifestyles that we live and the lifestyles that our kids live today or our folks live today versus the way our lifestyles back then. It was, I started working when I was in the 8th, 9th grade. And by the 10th grade, when it got to be the age of wanting to get a driver's license, I had to have a job. I had to have a job to be able to drive. I had to have a job to pay for the gas and those type of things. And so I started working when I was 8, 9, 10, 10 years old. And by the 10th grade, I was pretty much working every day of the week as soon as I got out of school. You were fortunate enough if you were able to play some sports that you could get away from some of that. But at the same time, when you got done with the sports and you got home, Mom and Dad make sure you got your chores done. So it rolls around in the way things have evolved. And in a lot of cases, we've made it maybe too easy for our kids today, and maybe too easy for a lot of us today to do the things, get the things that we want.
Yeah, it's changed a lot.
Yep.
In the last, 40 years?
Several years.
Longer than
Several
that.
years.
Family values have definitely
family values
been lost.
Yeah.
Within the last.
They've been lost. They've been changed. When again growing up, we didn't sit down to eat until Mom had it ready, and Dad was in from work, and everybody was sitting at the table. TVs were turned off. It wasn't sitting. Today. Dinner time is whoever can get there, and wherever they might be able to eat at the house, they're able to eat at the house. We ate at the table, and we ate as a family. I was a little bit unfortunate at times because my dad pretty much worked 12, 14, 16 hours a day sometimes. So sometimes in the evening, we didn't see him till 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. He worked on the river. But Mom made sure that we were all still sitting there together. And it was a home-cooked meal. It wasn't a takeout. It wasn't to go to the store and buy pizza or bring pizza home or anything. It was cooked meals. So family values then, family was core to us. We went places together. We went church together. We went on vacation together. All those type of things. It was that type of togetherness. Whereas today, I think it's helter-skelter. Families are just drawn in so many different directions, and whether it's because of the media, the entertainment world, whatever it is, kids today, families today just get drawn in so many different directions, and I think core values are lost. Kids don't sit at the table with their parents. They may come in and say hi, bye, and out the door they go. We didn't say hi and bye and out the door. We made sure that we ate and did our things, did our homework and all those type of things. But and I think one of the bigger things today with family values is unfortunately greater than 50%, probably approaching 60%. Our homes, our families are two separate families anymore. Divorce rate is running greater than 50, 55, 60% in a lot of families. So kids today, when they're growing up, sometimes they know where they're going when they leave home or leave school, which home they're going to. Sometimes they don't. And that has a major, major impact on our young children today and our young kids or young adults who are growing up, not knowing which parent to go to, which home to go to, and those type of things. And when that happens, I think family values really disappear. I think it damages family values a lot.
Okay, so religion.
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 Well, I go to the Maysville Church of the Nazarene, the Refinery Church of the Nazarene. I've gone to church all my life. All my life. I grew up from a wee little kid. If my mom and dad couldn't get me to church, my aunt came and took me to church, or somebody would make sure that I was in church if they couldn't be in church. And it was pretty much our whole family. We were taught to be in Sunday school on Sunday morning, in church on Sunday morning, and on church Sunday night. And if we had a Wednesday night service, we were taught to be in church on Wednesday nights. But I think a lot of that has disappeared because, backing up to family values, lifestyles, and everything, our religion has taken a major hit upon all those type of things, because religion is, family values and lifestyles is the core builder to our religion. Christians today, in our world that we live in today, in the United States today, is a minority. They are. And it's tough. And more the values that were core values for us, be it either family or lifestyle or rules and policies, we change them just to make somebody feel good. And unfortunately, that's what's happened in religion today. We change what the good book, the Bible, tells us to make it work for other people, for other things. And that's not the way God intended to do. He just didn't intend for the religion that we so-called was brought to each and every one of us 2,000 years ago. It's just not that way. So when you back up and look at the family values and the core values that we have, our education system, our government, religion has taken a big hit on all of it. And I think it's a harm to us, and through that, I think we are suffering from a lot of the things that we're going through today.
So out of those four that I just mentioned,
Mm-hmm.
the education, the family lifestyle in general, and religion, which one do you think has got to change, and which one needs to go back to the core values of it?
Well, I think number one, religion has to change. I mean, in God we trust, and in our under one nation, under God. I mean, we've all learned that in so many times in our school systems. Again, backing up a little bit to school. When I was at school, the first thing every day, every class that we were in, pledge allegiance to the flag and the Lord's Prayer. Those values are gone. It's very seldom do you even hear of that being mentioned today. But we are a nation under one God, indivisible. And I think religion is the one thing that's taken the biggest hit, because we've let our values sink so low, and we forgot about our values as a person, as a family, as a unity, as an education system. We forgot about those values, and religion to me is a very, very big, important thing, and I think it's one of the biggest things that today is a major topic for everybody. Is a lot of things that we see today that are going wrong is because we're turning our back on religion. We're turning our back on what the Bible tells us, and again, a lot of it is we just want to change some things to make people feel good or make it work for people, and that's not what it's intended to do.
Okay. If you could choose one thing that you think, like, just your opinion, has changed the world for better or for worse, just whichever you think it has changed it to, what would that be?
Well, I think probably most people will say what I'm going to say, and that's technology. No doubt, back in the 40s and 50s and the 60s, that one of the greatest things coming along was the Industrial Revolution. Man was inventing machines, and man was doing this, and man was doing that to make things better, make things easier. And there's nothing wrong with that. Again, if we're not careful, we lose the value of what we've learned to work with our hands and things like that. And I'm not against the technology at all. But I think it's taken the sense away from men and people to really work. I grew up with two boys, and I wanted to see something really great and everything work out best for them. And one of the biggest problems is sometimes we say, go to school and work hard, and you'll be good. And now today, I think, is go to school and everything will be easy for you. Get an education. It'll be easy for you. It should be get an education and work hard to learn the values that you need to learn. And in today's world, we've turned it around to where go to education, you don't have to work. Get an education, you don't have to work. Or you don't have to work as hard. Mm-hmm. I mean, not to say not work, because you need to work, but not work hard. And that's because the technology world is growing so fast for us. Again, we have the computer age. It has encompassed all of us. We all have computers. We all have laptops. We all have cell phones. Good gracious, when I was young, a cell phone, had no idea what a cell phone would even get to. None of us did. Yeah, and again, you look at what we hear today, or what happens right now in our world we live in today, we hear in seconds. When I was growing up, what happened in the world today, it may be 2 or 3 days before we hear about it. Those time travels, and it travels fast because of the technology of phones and computers and all those type of things. And so I think technology has had made a major role into a lot of those things that we've already talked about. Education, lifestyles, family values, and even religion. It's made it. People don't have to go to church. They can watch it on TV. They can pull up it on their computer. They can watch it on Facebook. They don't have to go to church. And if you're not careful, you get in that mode that's what you do. Instead of being in church and being a part of church, we get captured because we can get it so easy on our phones and on our computers and things like that. And that's the way it happens to all of our values. Big thing, technology, I think.
Do you think that technology may ruin, not ruin, but in some way destroy the work world? Like the robots that people are using for factories, do you think that could overcome the workers?
Well, there's no doubt, even in my time, in my years of working with Emerson and Brownings, I worked there for 40 plus years. Again, I grew up learning to run a machine, operate a machine, visualize what I'm doing in front of me. And in the factory, after that came what we call computer related machines, NC control machines. In other words, all you do is put what you want something to be made into a tape, put it in the machine, and it would do it. I think it takes away that experience of people knowing and learning how to do something. Will it ruin it? I didn't deal a lot with robots in my work life. There were robots in my work life, but it was kind of more of a still man operated. But guess what? Robots, computers are only as good as the people behind them that put the information in too. So I don't think it will, because we still have that. I still think we as human beings still have some firepower if we only apply ourselves. Now, will we apply ourselves? If we're not careful with robots, with computer age, people can get awful lazy. And when you get lazy, the work values, the core values of getting a job, working hard, improving yourself, deteriorate.
Now, off of that, do you think that the workforce today is slacking in laziness and not everybody putting forth their best effort?
Yes, I do. I think that, but I think, and I don't know if it's because of technology that they're lazy. I think people today, again, we have instilled in our younger people as they're growing up, get an education, you won't work as hard. And that's wrong. That is really, really wrong. It should be get you a good education and still apply yourself. And I don't think people are ready to apply themselves. We are losing a lot of trades in our workforce. And when I say trades, it's hard to find a good mechanic. It's hard to find a good electrician. It's hard to find a good machinist. It's hard to find a good plumber. And it's hard to find because you don't want to do what I did growing up. You don't want to be a mechanic. You don't want to work in a factory. You don't want to be a plumber. You don't want to be an electrician. Those are trades that built this country by hand or by machine. They built this country. So, but you would prefer the easy life to sit behind a desk and run a computer. The easy life to sit behind a desk and boss someone. You still got to apply yourself. But I think one of the greatest things of decreasing work value is when I worked, I took pride in working. I took pride in my job. I took pride in the things that I accomplished in my job, and I respected the people that had told me what to do. I don't think you have that today. I don't think people today take a lot of pride in what they do, and I don't think people respect their bosses and their elders. And you can take that through workforce, you can take it into family values, you can take it lifestyle, all the way through. We have really deteriorated in respecting our elders, respecting the people who have brought us to where we are today, and they have brought us to where we are today. I'm not too old enough that I still can't learn, and I still listen to people older than me when they encourage me or when they tell me new things or instruct me on what to do. May not always agree, and there's no problem with that. You don't have to agree with everything, but you kind of got to respect people's opinions and what they say or what they tell you about. So yeah, I think if we're not careful, we could be on the threshold of losing all of that.
But, sorry, you mentioned the trades that we do have.
Yep.
And now that we're getting these trade schools back into our
Great.
high schools,
Great.
how we have the new, I'm not for sure what it's called, but where the Honda shop used to be.
Yeah.
Where those are, do you think that can help rebuild those wants
I
to be those mechanics and plumbers and all of those people?
And we needed that. We needed that when I was growing up. We needed that kind of a thing because sometimes kids in their family life, again, because of separated homes, because of unfortunate not having the money or those type of things to do things, kids need that today. All they got to do is apply themselves. And I think there's still a world of all kinds of potential out there in our young people today and our young adults and everything. We just got to tap into it. And I think that's one good way to tap into it. Got a grandson that I know is not overexcited about going to school every day. And he's not excited about doing homework or getting into the books if it requires the books or even open up his Chromebook. But I know he likes tinkering with things, be it a dirt bike, be a four-wheeler, or he just likes to tinker. He likes to talk about engines and those type of things. I've encouraged him to really, really think about that when he gets into high school, to dive into that there's great opportunity and potential out there. And now I hear that not only you can also go full-time and get full credit. That's a great way to learn trade, because you learn a trade because somebody has enough intestinal fortitude and time and concern about you to show you what to do and how to do it. And that's what it takes. And then after you learn, you grow more by just getting your hands on it. Are you going to make mistakes? Yeah, you're going to make mistakes, but that's okay. That's what you're out there for. You learn by the mistakes that you made. So I think it's a great thing that we've added to our school system here in Mason County. And I think it just needs to continue to build and build and build. And from what I'm hearing, the results of kids being here are really great. So yeah, I think they should be. I think it really should help.
Would you recommend everybody, like in the school system, to just try the trade school?
No, I wouldn't, because some kids aren't made for it. I mean, again, I said finding a good mechanic and finding a good electrician and finding a good machinist today is hard. It is hard because kids don't want to do what mom and pop did, okay? They want to venture on out. And there's nothing wrong with that, nothing at all. As long as they apply themselves and they learn from it. My fear is, in a trade, you apply yourself, you learn from it, you get better at it. You get better at it, you progress. If you don't look down that avenue, and again, give me a college degree and a job will be sitting out there for me. That ain't the answer either. Because you're not applying yourself and working hard. You got to work at it. And but it's not made for everybody either. There's teachers out there. We need teachers. Is that a trade? Yeah, that's a trade. It's a different type of trade, but we need teachers in our school systems. We need committed, dedicated teachers in our school system, willing and able to teach that next generation. We need kids to be other things. So it's not cut out for everybody. Not cut out for you. But it is cut out for your brother, I think. So I think it's a makeup of the person and everything and what they're doing. And is college made out for everybody? No. But going to school and learning a good trade is a good way to go. It really is. So I would say if you don't get a chance to go to college and get that good education into a field that you want to get into, or go to trade school and learn a trade that you feel like you can really work at and make good at, apply yourself. Apply yourself. If you don't apply yourself and if you don't get into it, it's going to be a tough world out there that you live in today.
Yes,
and guess what? People just ain't going to hand it to you either. People are not going to just hand it to you. I was fortunate enough that to get a job early and to work and stay at it. And even though I'm retired, I'm still working because I enjoy the work. And I think one of the two things are the two. You take education, you take work. Education helps me learn the things that are going to be coming at me. Work helps me to continue to build my mind and build my body and my strength so that I can live a longer life.
Okay. Thank you for
You're welcome.
interviewing me. Well,
I hope I helped you out. I hope I didn't confuse anybody.
But thank you for sitting
Okay.
down with me and talking to me and answering my questions.
Okay. You're welcome.